Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, one and all.
We need some more upbeat music. I say it every
I
week.
know, every time.
We need more.
And then 1 week passes, and then I forget to do it again. And then
Nothing
it goes back
happens.
again.
Right.
Do we have
Someone else take
anyone
responsibility for that, and I'll make the change.
who watches the show that would be interested in composing theme music? That would be incredible, right?
Ooh.
You know,
If someone wants to like do a little bit of upbeat music and a timer and send us the video clip, we'll use it, right? Like,
just make sure that you own the rights to said music.
It has to be created by the community, though. It can't be copied off something else. We'll get strikes. We don't want strikes.
Yeah,
it could be Suno though. Suno would work. Or what? Sorry, what's the Google equivalent of Suno? It's something mixed.
Suno. I have no idea what Suno is. You know,
Suno's the music maker.
Oh, okay. Do you remember Rave? Oh my! It just reminded me. Was it called Cubase? Like that one where you like put all the it was like Rave EJ. There was a whole bunch of these apps where you just like put your beats down like in tracks, right?
Yeah.
The very early kind of music editing stuff. You could just make your own music by putting like the different instruments down and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
it was like a modern form of what was that old one? Trackers, right? You remember Trackers?
I don't remember. So I did go down the path of making music for a while, and I quit because I am terrible at making music. But the earliest one I remember was called Fruity Loops, and then it got changed into FL Studio, and that's what a lot of hip hop producers use now. Yeah. I used Ableton. I've got a friend that uses Logic.
Logic.
Oh, Acid. I forgot about Acid. Yeah.
Sonic Foundry Acid. Yeah, that was another one. Cubase. Does anyone know Cubase? That was the professional one at the time, if I remember rightly. That it still seems to be.
That wasn't a database.
Still around.
It sounds like a database. It sounds like a database to me.
No, it's an actual DAW. It's a DAW.
Oh, CUE base.
Yeah.
CUBASE. Yeah. Cubase.
I heard letter Q, and I went, "That's like a database."
Steinberg owned it. Yeah, it's like the professional one, I think, that's been around. But it reminds me of I'm gonna see if I can find it now, because it's like, is this? Oh my god, is this still a thing? This is not. Oh my, you can still buy it. No way can you still buy this software. Oh my, I just had a. This is a blast. I'm gonna share this just because like we just had. By the way, we're open the show. Get your questions in. We'll start off, but we'll
Has anyone seen? There's this person who makes music by coding. And it's like this thing that comes through, and like the song is like, in the beginning there was trance, and at the beginning they're like in the beginning there were 4 beats, and then they type in a line of code and the 4 beats come out.
Yeah.
Like,
this is not just one person. This is like a whole bit of software that lots of people use. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's do you know what, when you do like now you have musicians that do the what they're called, like repeat boxes, where they can speak into the mic and then they press a button, and
it's called a looper. Yeah. It's called a looper.
So that's what, it was like, it's like the technical form of a looper, right? The geek version of a looper, basically. So, but yeah, no, the one that since we're here, why not? Like,
Mr. Looper, Mr. Looper,
Mr. Looper.
Let me share this. Yeah, this is what I was thinking about. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this.
No.
Let me get rid of some things off the screen. I'm covered up.
There's some Australian dude. I think his
there you go. Look, this was it from like the.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like the early 90s, 2000s.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of Winamp. Oh my gosh,
it was that time. It was that era. But I'm just look. I'm like, this is still a product that you can actually buy. I mean,
you can still buy this. You can still buy this. Oh my gosh!
Apparently, look. They did dance, hip hop, techno, R&B. This is a whole thing. It was massive at the time.
Wow!
But if this was early 90s, notice the fact that it says over 20 years. So that even the webpage hasn't been updated in a long time.
Yeah, webpage hasn't been updated.
I'm kind of curious, but yeah, no, this was. Yeah, I'm music creation. Yeah, this has been around. I don't know how long.
It continues to be.
You can tell, can't you? Do you remember Big Box Software? Do you remember Big Box Software when it was a thing?
Yes.
Before downloads, before you could have downloads, because we didn't have the bandwidth, right?
You had to go to the store and get the floppies.
So this is so sad, but I'm going to admit it live for everyone, because of course I am. My favorite store to go to was Office Max. and I would go into the Office Max and I would walk to the software section and I would look at all the boxes of software and imagine running them on the computer that I couldn't afford to own at that point. That was my childhood right there.
I remember. You just reminded me. I remember installing Windows off of 15 floppy disks.
Yep.
You literally come in the big box, 15 disks, massive box. You put one in after the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, wasn't DOS even like 6 disks?
Yeah, that's 5 1/4. Yeah.
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 Well, it's also though reminding me of how the copy protection was done back on my Commodore 64, where they would. Yeah, they would actually take it like have random holes in the actual floppies, so that they would try to read from it. It'd be an error. You'd hear your whole drive going knock 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 knock. And it had to match that, or you couldn't use the software.
Yep.
Man, I thought I was old installing World of Warcraft off of like 8 CDs.
Wait,
Nope.
What was that game? What was that? Riven? What was the game where it had
Riven.
like, it was like, is it 3D rendered? It was like you would go through each scene. Was it Riven?
So Mist was the first one.
That was Mist.
Riven was the
That was
sequel
it,
to Mist.
Like a whole fucking a stack of CDs of that thing. You'd be like going through them on your PC. You'd be like, this is multimedia. And it's like,
I remember playing Mist for the first time, and I was like, this is as good as graphics will ever get. This is mind blowing. Nothing will ever be better than Mist.
When you consider what you had this high quality, obviously pre-rendered, versus like this live stuff, and it was just that, you know, if they could just solve like how you can like move around this world, you know, like you would have it. That's basically what we've done. We just upgraded to that rendering real time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember having I remember how cool it was on my Commodore 64 again when I had a floppy that the entire floppy was full, but if you put it in, you could it would do the everybody was kung fu fighting. That was it. That's what you can do on a floppy.
Oh
wow!
Okay. What was it? You just reminded me of? You know, remind me of that guy who did Star Wars.
George Lucas.
On floppy disk drives. You know what I mean? He gets like about 50 floppy disk drives, hooks them all up, and uses the seeking sound of the floppy drive.
Yes.
I don't know that.
Yes.
Have you not seen
that.
So I haven't seen him do Star Wars. I was a big fan of the Gorillaz back in the day, and he did several Gorillaz songs with nothing but floppy disk. It was fantastic.
What's the Imperial March? Is it called the
Imperial March?
That on floppy disk drive, like motors moving, like it was quite something. Anyway, Oh my god! Right,
let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah, let's do some introductions. My name's Simon Lightfoot.
Let's do that.
Flutter community leader, CTO Dev Ventures London. You can follow me at this very place on Twitter and other places.
Randall Schwartz. I've been a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert since the beginning of the program, which I think now is 6.5 years. And I means I answer a lot of questions about Dart and Flutter online in various socials and stuff. And I also answer a few questions here, but for here, I'm also the question magician, which means that I am watching the chat for you to have Q colon in front of a question you want to ask this illustrious panel. So if you want to talk to us, put Q colon in it. You can talk amongst yourselves all you want, but I'll ignore most of those unless I'm answering it. So that's it.
And Danielle?
Sure. I'm Danielle Cox. I'm the Flutter app team lead for a startup called Ardly, and I'm also one of the organizers for the Flutteristas, which if you haven't heard of us, been under a rock somewhere, hit us up. We'll talk to you about it. We're women and non-binary folk who have an interest in Flutter. And I do see Kaylee out there talking. So, that's more of us there. She can vouch for the fact that we are a cool group. And hi. And Matt, go.
Hey, my name is Matthew. You can find me on the interwebs as Makerinator. I'm a senior Flutter developer for a bank whose name I can't say publicly, but my real avocation is that I have a YouTube channel. So I make weird stuff out of Flutter and Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, all that type of thing. I'm hoping to have a new video out sometime next week. So that'll be exciting. So definitely check that out. I don't do a lot of social, but I am on Blue Sky. You can follow me there. And of course, LinkedIn.
And here, everybody.
Is the bank's name really hard to pronounce? Is that what you can't say?
Actually, it is mispronounced fairly frequently. That's the funny thing. That is the funny thing.
Don't clue anyone
My
in.
psychic abilities.
All right, I'm crossing Chase off the list.
Yeah.
What's funny is y'all can go to my LinkedIn and see who it is. That's fine. I can put it on my LinkedIn. I just can't say it here, which is hysterical. But
are we allowed to say it?
Just
We'll not get you in trouble.
John, introduce yourself, John.
All right. Please.
Yes.
Now.
So I'm John Wheezy. I am the Flutter Community Media Manager and sit in a number of places like Randall, trying to answer questions for folks and help you get things working. And in my spare time, although now in my primary time, have been doing a lot more Flutter stuff. So I've been building, working on a few of my apps and thinking about some new ideas and some new things to work on. So
yeah,
that's me.
And if you feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you post a link, we won't get your messages. Any messages with links in disappear. So that if you want to share code with us, the way you do that is using this mechanism. So if you go on to GitHub, I'll just go to gist.new, the extra direct to GitHub, pop in your title description, pop in a file name ending in .dart so we get the syntax highline, pop in your code. You can always put a question and comment, whatever it is, post it, and then grab that hash from the URL 0.6 there, from the URL, pop that in the chat with your message, and we can go look up based on that hash your code, and we can talk about streaming. We can do code reviews. We'll also take a request for live coding, all sorts of things. Just anything you want to share, pop it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Right, back to our usual scheduled program. I mean, we're not going to go through do's and don'ts. I think we've read enough. Don't be an idiot. Be nice. Be respectful. There you go. Or have a good time. There you go.
And we have band hammers.
Yeah, and we all use them. There you go. Right, there's your highlight.
Don't spam.
So John, before we started, we were talking about Signals briefly. So you said you converted one of your apps to Signals. How did that go for you?
I started to, yeah. So so I decided that I was going to play with Signals and dig into it and see what I could do to maybe rebuild one of my popular apps using Signals. It's one of these apps that has been built since Flutter started. So it's got 7 years of 7+ years of code that is just a mishmash of whatever I was trying out at the time and built a feature
7
with.
years of cruft.
Yeah, exactly. So it works and everything's good there. But I thought, it'd be nice to try and redo this and maybe get a little bit more structure and stuff now that I've got a lot more experience with Flutter under my belt and stuff. So I started building it. I had a really nice properties signal set up, very easy to go add a new property and have it stored to disk and pulled back off and all the fun stuff that you need. And a couple other things. I built one of the features with it and stuff. And then I decided it was time to rebuild my MacBook. And forgot to push to get all the work that I done. Driving down the road a few hours later after rebuilding, it hit me that, I lost all of that.
Did you do the swear with the car? Oh my God!
No, but I was just driving down the road going, "Oh, you idiot!"
Yeah. You had to pull over and take a breath. Like, oh God, no, that won't code.
Yeah. So now I'm at that point where it's okay, now I just got to find a few minutes and sit down and start over. But I had created a bunch of models because the volleyball thing has 800 different models for different stuff in it, and I had taken a whole bunch of those and redone them and everything I needed to get kind of the primary feature working. And then
I think it's sad that you did that. It's interesting, but I would say that you could probably now you've done it. What's the thing is the hardest time doing any sort of code is the first time, right?
Yeah.
Once you repeat yourself, you get easier. So you could probably go back through that, and it'd probably be
a
lot quicker. I wouldn't say like super fast, but
it'd be a lot quicker because there was definitely as I was building some of the Signal stuff for preferences and a couple other provider type stuff, repositories. It was kind of trial and error until I got it working correctly with Signals. So
did you use any AI in doing this?
I mean, yeah. So I typically I'm in VS Code with Copilot or any of the models that it supports doing stuff. So I mean, a little bit.
Because Rody did that AI integration. He's actually there's now a page in the documentation just for AI integration, which is really interesting.
There's a link there.
Yeah, I hadn't tried that. I did see it though, so it was on my list.
It might be worth plugging it. If you're going to redo it might be worth plugging it in, and maybe you can help you fast track it. Maybe, But the thing is, again, I found with AI, and then we're not going to talk about AI for ages on the show because we talk about it enough, but everywhere talks about it way too much. But I will say that in my experience, it's been about having the experience of development anyway. Makes it a lot easier to direct the AI because I can say, no, I want you to do this. Right, like I can be more precise with my wording. I can be more realistic of demands.
Yep,
that kind of makes sense. Like I can say, I want you to do this first, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. You can break it down into steps because you know how you need to tackle it. So what it ends up being is a speed multiplier for any developer of their experience because it does all the typing almost, right? All that repeating, all that kind of whatever you need to do, it kind of gets to that point quicker, right? But
and if you're Matthew, you get the added benefit that it yells at you after it gives you the answer.
Yes, because my AIs are programmed to be antagonistic. Yes.
I did something the other day. I asked it to do something, and I edited the code because I didn't like what it did. And then I asked it to do something else. And it went, "Oh, I see you've changed it back. I'm going to change it back again."
AI is the antagonistic pair programmer that we all need. That's amazing. No. So, go ahead, Randall.
I was just going to say that's how Skynet got started. I knew it was something.
It gets started from developer envy. Just doesn't like what we're doing. It has to correct everyone.
One thing that I found useful, I actually am at the point now where I find it more useful when I'm working in a code base where I've got some existing code than like the blank slate, because I can then tell it, hey, here's a pattern that I used over here. Please reuse this pattern over here, and it will follow and do that. But I know there's a lot of talk about AI, but I would like to ask about DI, which is what are you guys using for what are you guys doing with dependency injection of signals? Because with the project I'm getting ready to put out.
Ready for your question today. I've had conversations today about dependency injection no end. So,
okay, never mind. I'm using Get-It right now, and
actually, this is what we want to use as well, right? So the thing is, I've always found like dependency injection is one of those things, right? Like if you want, so dependency injection is nothing to do. So if those don't understand, let me just preface this with. Basically, to run some code in one class, you need instances of other objects in other classes to perform those actions. For example, we might have a repository that does some things with an API, so it needs access to the API. So you have an API class that's separate that you give to that repository, and that repository can then access said API and do what it needs to do. Right, so it's about separation of concern, so you can test those things independently, but when you use them, they come together and work together. Now. The thing is, what you can do with dependency injection is also just do what I just said. You create an instance of the API class, you hand it to all your repositories, and that's it. You've just done dependency injection, right? It's that simple. However, I will say that it's that kind of there's that labor intensive, right? So depending on how big your parts of your app get, you've suddenly got a lot of dependencies flying around. So you want some sort of dependency injection framework, which is basically something that just automates that task of going to find the instance of that class. If it doesn't have it, you have a registered factory that will create that. And if that thing then depends on more things, it will find those and create those. And then eventually do exactly the same thing you would be doing manually, but at runtime. And that is Get-It, right? Get-It is one a good example of doing that. And it supports some of the more complex problems you get with dependency injection, like circular dependencies. And if you have a circular dependency, you either fix that by putting out logic into a separate class and making solving the diamond problem that way, or you can what do you call it? Do a late variable, hand it to both, and then have one constructed later. And this allows you to again do like a lazy initialization, but Get-It also supports lazy registration, which also solves that problem. So that's the fundamentals. Discuss.
I was just going to say.
I haven't pulled up YouTube, but I want to weigh in too. Tomas is an amazing guy. Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, Thomas Burkhart,
Yeah.
the creator of Get It.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
I had the
just wanted
opportunity to meet him. He's a cool guy.
Before we get off the Skynet thing, I had a little fun with Nano Banana last week. Go ahead and post that up, Simon. Can you pull it up? Yeah, I said show the correlation between AI and Skynet, and that's all I said in the prompt. And then show this man, and I had my headshot, so it's just my standard headshot, looking a little panicked and concerned. One shot. I did some one shot. That's so
pretty
good.
cool.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I know it gets my facial textures when I'm that panicked pretty close. So it's
And you have the right number of fingers.
Yeah.
yes, right number of fingers. But I love the conspiracy board with the right push pins and this yarn connecting things. And
The problem is,
images,
you didn't just stick them on the board. You stuck them all over the walls behind as well.
yeah. So like everywhere. I'm not sure if I'm standing or sitting. It's hard to tell from the angle there. But this is the same tie that's in my standard headshot too. So I'm
you're
wearing
on a high
coat
chair.
and tie in my
On a
headshot.
high chair.
Yeah.
And you repeated
maybe.
your post-it notes.
Yeah, I know.
Terminator
Well,
timeline. Yeah, AI takeover.
Really cool. It's actually really good. That's actually really
It
good.
is good.
It's pretty funny.
So I used Nano Banana for something the other day, and I'm like, this should be on every clothing website. Like, honestly, it should be. Which is, I was shopping, and I wanted to know, like, what will this outfit look like on me? So I downloaded the pictures off of Amazon, and then I gave it a picture of myself, and I said, put me in this outfit. And it did a really good job. Like, I was able to say,
did you say go up one size? That wasn't to you. I just mean I could just imagine doing that, and no. I just imagine doing it for me, and it going and having like a stretch top or something else. Not what I was asking for. Not that exact one.
I would do that, but for the belly, make it really tight around the belly, so I can get a realistic idea of what this is going to look like. So,
I mean, that's what you want, right? To know.
Yeah.
Is that like the guy that everybody asks him to do something to their photo, and he tries to go up something very literal that's not right?
Yeah, those are funny.
Yes.
Those are great. Yes.
You know what?
Make me look taller and it shrinks everything else.
Yeah.
To be honest, Matthew, just to go on that point there, it wasn't too long ago that we had, like, with iPhones and everything else, with LiDAR sensors and everything else, depth sensors, like having the notion that, you could like film yourself or film someone and say, put these clothes on, like using some app or some website. And that was like the new crazy thing. And now it's like, well, with AI, it becomes a more realistic proposition to do that. And actually, the result would be a lot better because, you're not going to have that kind of glitchiness that you get from those depth sensors and live rendering like that. I'm kind of intrigued.
Yeah, I will share the actual picture. You are going to laugh.
Are you sure you want to do this?
No, but I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. It should be shared. My wife said no to this outfit, by the way. She said I couldn't buy it. She said I looked like the conductor from the Polar Express. But that's...
Were you just trying this out on a picture from one of your YouTube streams?
Yeah. It was like the easiest picture for me to grab. And then I grabbed the clothes off of Amazon, and I just said, composite all this together so I know what I look like if I buy this outfit. And this is what it came back with. And I'm like, I took one look at that and I'm like, man, I am one dapper gentleman. And my wife...
I think the same thing. I think you can pull off a vest. Depends on the like the blue and the brown don't go together with the blue background, obviously, right? But
right. But no, Mandy said no, absolutely no vest. I'm not allowed to buy the vest. So, but I'm a very sad individual. But that's like my Nano Banana story. Is like I legitimately think that this is a use case because I'm like, that was a useful output. Like I know generally what this is going to look like on me now. That's really interesting.
They talked about this in I/O, though. They were actually saying they were doing that with earlier Gemini. In fact, there's a project in Google Labs called Doppel that does exactly this. So you didn't have to write anything or use Nano Banana. You could have just used this project. But
yeah. I mean, I look at Amazon and I'm like, they came out with Rufus, which I think we can all agree is the most worthless of the AI agents. And I'm like... Can we maybe just add, this is the AI that Amazon needs? Like, I want to know what I look like if I put on this shirt, But anyway, enough said. Do we have questions?
We have one, but if we want to talk about one more Flutter thing while we're waiting for questions, I released a prelim package just a day and a half ago that I finished using anti-gravity, something that had been sitting on my back shelf for 5 years, and finally moved it forward into a place that could do that. Let me put the link in the chat here, and Simon can pull it up and we can walk through it. Where is it? Where's Randall? GitHub. There we go. So this isn't pushed to the pub yet, but basically when Flutter Web first came out, there was a big concern that there was no way to populate the pages with meta information or whatever you needed to do. And it had to be done on a per route basis or it wouldn't make any sense. And so I had this proof of concept that I'd written 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, whenever Flutter Web came out, right? 5 years ago now? It's been a while. And it worked, but I hadn't extracted it, and I hadn't updated it until recently to the new package web. So I had anti-gravity do that first, and then I had written it as a monolithic app, and I had it extracted into an example and write the docs and add tests and make it a pullable library. So what this does is it lets you on Flutter Web, given a path in your routing, to attach metadata. So the title and anything else that goes in head under meta. It's what I realized almost immediately is that this is the proof of concept in the sense that I know that it on first paint, it puts up whatever changes you've made. So it can actually on the route change the first page that gets painted from that. It works.
I'm going to caveat what you've done here with something.
Yeah.
So that normally the problem is not this. Normally the problem is that the initial response from the server needs to contain the meta tags. So this needs to be sorted out with server-side rendering. So let me explain. This is great. It works. But it means that the bot has to download the JavaScript, run the JavaScript, wait for first render of the JavaScript, and then do a bunch of stuff. If that JavaScript, especially if it's Flow Web, becomes something like, let's say, 8 megabytes, what you're going to get timeout conditions happening. It's just not going to use that as its input. It's not going to wait. So it ends up just using the HTML from the web page. Also, the HTML from the web page is more consumed by more bots, right? The first render from the server, I mean, right? So my point here being that this works, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the problem is it's out of your control what the bot does. And this is always the overall concern that you need it coming from the server on first request. So,
well, it is on the first request though. It's first paint. It works.
No, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So the server downloads the HTML file from the server. Sorry, I'm not trying to I'm just explain this, right? So
I see what you're saying. It has to be on the initial HTML
file and the JavaScript and everything else. It doesn't actually have to render any of it. It doesn't have to use a browser, right? Because it has the HTML in the request, and that's it. There's your tags immediately, right? 0 loading time, 0 anything. And that is immediately what you actually need. So when the request comes in, what you do is on the web server or the service that's actually serving the content, updates the HTML meta tags based on the URL that you requested. So exactly this thing, but it's server side from the server, right? From like a shelf server, basically. Whereas, so you still have your input being the standard index.html, but you need to inject the meta tags for the request that's being requested for, right?
There's nothing additional that's running JavaScript in the browser. The text that's in the DOM has the right paint already.
Yeah, but no, but that's rendered by the JavaScript. So what happens is your DOM, the HTML that gets downloaded from the server is basically like 10 lines. It's just like a blank DOM, right? Then then it has to load the bot has to load in a browser, run the JavaScript, download all the JavaScript, which could be many megabytes. Then run your JavaScript, get the first render, then that updates the DOM tree, and then it can then browse the DOM tree to get its meta information, right? And that's the problem. At that point, you might get timeout conditions. You might also get just giving up because it's either taking too long, it's too large, or whatever. All that whole process there is out of your control. There's lots of recommendations online, but basically all of it is send it straight from the server in the initial request because you can be guaranteed it always works. And I think that's the way of it. So sorry, I wasn't trying to like dump on what you just done, Randall, but that's the I've done the research myself, and that's what I got out of it.
Okay. Well, from what I've been reading about JavaScript-based pages, in Google's own documentation about how
yeah.
it processes JavaScript page spaces, this should work.
Oh, it does, and it will work, but it'll work in this example because it's so small and it's so quick and to load and everything else. If as soon as you get those conditions reaching the limits of what the bots are ready to deal with, because they can't spend that long. If they spend that long doing one page, then they can't spend that time doing other pages. There's only so many pages you can index for so much processing power per day, right? To keep them up to date. So at the end of the day is they won't even bother downloading it. So anyway. That's why people are interested with Jasper instead of Flutter, right? Because you haven't got the whole rendering process, you haven't got all that cross path because it just renders the DOM components directly. And the download for Jasper is 50K, I think it is minimum, something like 56K, something around that sort of size.
Yeah.
So it's like an immediate, like you're in, it's rendering. I'd be interested to see what this. I tell you what, Randall. I'll tell you what would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like what it is like with Jasper as well, or server-side rendering. Like you could do all three, and here are all the different ways of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I know that there's some interesting blog posts from Google around this very thing about the time it takes to render it, and then talking about these timeout conditions and things. I remember that's what I read. I don't remember where it is. I have to dig out the links. But...
Yeah. Anyway, soft launch. Check it out and give me feedback.
Yeah, please check it out. Bro. I feel like I just dumped on it, Rando. That wasn't my.
It's okay. I live with criticism. It's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm actually really interested in Jasper's static site generation. When it was introduced back at FlutterCon Berlin, he didn't have custom themes available yet. Like you could use any theme you wanted as long as it was the Dart theme or like you modified it. I very much, if we can get like custom themes inside of Jasper static site generation that I could just drop in because I don't want to be a web developer. Let's be honest. That would be incredible.
I've built a few things recently with Dart and AI. Websites and AI, and I was like, it's super simple now, right? To just say, I want it like this. You've done this wrong. It's when you get too complicated for the AI, and then you have to go in there and just tell it exactly what you want it to do, which means you've got to do that, get that hands on with the CSS sometimes or the HTML or whatever, right? JavaScript. But for the most part, does a pretty fine job, right? But I have a basic fundamental knowledge of all the CSS stuff, so it's like I can just dump in there and
I started my life as a web developer, so I do too. I just don't want to do it.
I know no one wants to do it. I think
so. Has anyone looked at? So a coworker of mine and good friend sent me. I think it's like Stitch with Google or something like that, but it will generate like an entire UI for you, which is really impressive.
Yeah. And it also the way it generates it is HTML and CSS, right? So they're all web-based UIs. And then you can download that CSS and HTML from the site, and it's also responsive and stuff. You can then hand that to an AI with the images and say, now make this in Flutter as well, and do that kind of thing. It's obviously, it does a mediocre job, but, you can fix it. It does the legwork, which means you can then go fix it up. It's definitely fun, though, I have to say. Like, I treat it more, the Stitch thing more as a... what's the word? I was gonna say mind map, but that kind of thing of like trying out different ideas. Now try
brainstorming.
Brainstorming. That's the word I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a brainstorming tool for sure.
Yeah.
I think AI is great for that.
I think if people are trying to treat it as their final design tool, that's going to fall short. Like you have it at screen level. That's it, right? You don't really have like it still needs a lot more refinement. It's still early. It still says a beta, right? So we're talking about this right now, but. It'd be really nice to be able to like export to Figma though, or something like that, and that kind of thing.
Yes, that would be really.
Then you could then, or to be able to support components, because if you support components, you could then like say, okay, here's my design system components. Now build the screen out of these components, or use this as your basis. Stuff like that. That I feel like gives it way much more power and usability for design and development. But since it can't do that, you can get screens that have. You can say use this screen for inspiration or use this kind of same thing, but you can come up with something completely different, some different styling. And okay, great, thanks very much. But that's where it can only be used for brainstorming and that side of it, because you have to take it with a pinch of salt, basically.
I'm going to bring everything full circle. I'm going to bring it right back to where we started from. So here's the thing, like there's the effort right now to break out, like, to have like a common widget library and break it away from Cupertino and Material, right? And I honestly think that we need more than Cupertino and Material. I think we also need to add Winamp to the list. So it's a series of widgets that look like 1990s Winamp, so that we can go back to the apex of design and build UIs that are all inspired by the llama. That's
use the Windows 95 set. That's pretty close. The Windows 95.
The Windows 95 widget library. Yes.
I'm gonna show you guys something. I'm gonna show you guys something, and you do not have to. You do not judge me. Okay, you cannot judge me.
Would we ever judge you, Simon? Would we ever judge you?
You would always judge me.
You criticize my project. I'm going to judge you.
Did any of you guys remember? Any of you guys remember the?
Wow.
Oh man. Oh man, that was the height of UI design right there. What happened to us? Where did we go wrong? That was the height of UI design. A digital DJ,
Sadly,
perfect.
My website still looks like that.
Disney. I love that the Disney one has the buttons arranged in like the Mickey shape. That's amazing.
Yeah, but they did look. They did like these. They did every like. It was like, I remember like you get like a box of like Half-Life, and it'd be like comes with free Winamp media player skin or Winamp skin or something. Like, this used to be. I remember this one, Headspace as well.
Yes, that was my
tabs in the Animate Open. But you can actually download these, and guess what? They still work on Windows 10 and Windows 11.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Amazing.
I was super like into tons and tons of them. I'm not going to go for it, but yeah, I was super. I'll put the link in the channel if anyone remembers his name. But oh my gosh, I somehow came across it the other day, and I was like, "Does it still work?" Oh my god, it still works. This is amazing.
Wow, crazy. We do have a few questions if we want to get started.
Hey, minute, is there Scott here? I saw someone that said,
"Yeah, it's Scott."
Oh, hey, Scott.
Scott's in the chat. He could join us if he wants. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can drop off real good space.
I can drop off. I gotta go in a few minutes anyway.
No pressure, Scott. You join whenever if you want. If you can. Right. Anyway.
Yeah. Only. All right.
Okay. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Should we go to some questions then?
Yes. So there's Zen Router guy, Duong Boy, Zen Router author. Can you take a look at it and give me feedback? So Zen Router is in the pub. We can look at it up there.
Didn't we? I feel like we looked at Zen Router. I feel like
it seems like somebody asked us. Yeah, I think he was here and asked us about this a month or two ago.
I mean, we're not here to promote packages, just FYI. However, we can certainly talk about it, I guess. Then, imperative declared. It sounds like it does all the things that you want it to do, right? I like. This is an interesting claim, right? No code generation. I think the problem I have with these things is that then you end up doing like a lot of dynamic at run. So I will just say that there's power in static code, right? So statically generated code, because you can reason about it. It can be statically analyzed. You can debug it easier. Like there's things. If it's runtime like mapping of things, like a bit like we're talking about dependency injection earlier, if it's runtime mapped, then you kind of get this instance where you can only debug and do it at runtime, right? So I love the fact that it's not using built like you've not got the, don't get me wrong, no code generation, because that's always a pain. But equally, I wouldn't push it as a selling point necessarily, right? Like personally,
as I recall, I did a code review of the code, and one of the things Jim and I pointed out was that there's a lot of use of dynamic returns, which obviously are evil. Yeah.
Type those returns. Even if the generic types, right? Like then what you do is you get type safety when you implement that in some situation. You guarantee the type is passed through correctly. Where dynamic is like, oh, you can pass through back anything, you know. And that's where you get the problem.
One time a year.
When you get that strict, when you get generic types, you end up getting like the warnings from the, you know, let's say you do change a type by mistake or whatever, you're going to get compilation issues, right? You're going to get, this is not the same thing as I was expecting. Whereas if it's dynamic, it's like, sure, go ahead. And it's not until you run that line of code that it then crashes because it's expecting a different type. And that's the issue. So it's the same as having any dynamically typed language like Python or whatever else. It's not until you run all those lines of code that you know that there's an issue there. PHP, same deal, right? That kind of stuff. Like this is where having a strongly typed language like Dart, take advantage of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine going back to all of the
nice
bad types and stuff like that from C. I love C.
Bad types.
Not that part, you know.
Bad types. What you gonna do?
It looks really interesting, to be fair. I have to like try it out, right? Like I'm not gonna, I can't really comment on it really until I try it. But yeah, from the outset, conceptually it looks good. The use of equatable, you know, for all this, it works. But equally now you've got, I'm assuming you've now got dependency on that, right? Oh, so you're just using the same principle, the same naming convention, the same system. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I mean, sure. I mean, the thing is, I've done I did about 4 talks on routing, I think, in total over the years. But this is all the things that obviously bonuses that you actually want and things that you want. I think, especially when it comes to like the guarding and redirect stuff, like is always one of the big problems. It's pretty hard to me. I don't particularly like going at. I mean, I'll give it a go, but I think when it comes to routing, most of them. Navigate 1 does most of the job, right? Like it's only when you get to more complex multimodal in terms of like you've got desktop and mobile and web all in one app, you know, you've got this like really complicated structure of on mobile you need to have one screen at a time, and then when you get to tablet, they're side by side. Now you've got this like complex navigation behavior you're trying to resolve, that you go, oh, now I need to have a more complex idea around how I can rebuild the UI and have the strong navigation approach. I mean, anyone else experience this? Like doing more complex navigation in apps?
I think we're all sidetracked in the chat as John.
What are you talking about? What's going on?
John posted the instructions for making the Flutter sign inside a chat.
Everybody keeps asking every week, so
people are trying to place orders for the Flutter sign.
It was Lane again. He got us sidetracked.
Etsy, man, put it on Etsy.
Why don't you do a crowdfund? Get a bunch of people can then order it, and then you can just get serviced by like PCB or one of these companies where they just build it and ship it, you know, like done.
It's easy to make, but yeah.
And I was joking that we should do like a live coding day one day where it's just we follow John around his workshop as he makes a Flutter sign, and it's the whole live coding portion of the segment. But yeah, no, okay. So routing, here's the thing, is that I don't look at alternative routing solutions because GoRouter typically just does what I need, to be honest with you. Like I've used AutoRoute, and one of my big projects still uses AutoRoute, and I have a deep abiding hatred of AutoRoute.
There's Route Master as well, isn't there? There's another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I'm not against seeing a different package, but no one has made a compelling case for me to use something other than Go Router. That's the first question in my mind.
Yeah, there's definitely times I'm using Go Router. I'm like, this is just getting in my way. I wish I wasn't using this. There's times I'm using Go Router and that's actually happened, right? Like, and I think there's just a point at which it becomes a lot more complicated. And I think for me, the real problem is it's that when you get to that complex navigation, it falls short. So it's like, oh, Go Router becomes Navigator 1, but for Navigator 2, right? Like it gives you much of stuff out of the box. It does what you want it to do, but it gives you like a redirect function, a few other like interesting things that you can do. But even that is super hard to understand and to work around. When you're trying to do a logged in, logged out state, when a token expires and you need to change it to a logged out state, and when they log back in, then you don't want to change it back to where they were, stuff like that. It's like this like kind of dynamic behaviors and everything else become like a really taxing thing to end up doing.
And AutoRoute does that better. Like their route guard system is actually designed to let you do a lot of that stuff, but also I hate auto route because every major version it's a serious pain in the neck to upgrade because everything breaks. So
what's he saying here? Solution brings dev tools with it, which is nice. I don't know about subtitles anyway. Where was I? No way to debug deep links. Yes, you can debug deep links all you like. Now you're saying there's like you're not be able to do it. That's probably because you just don't know how. Because you've always been able to debug deep links. Doesn't matter what package you use. That's immaterial, right? So, just want to throw that one out there. We talked about this last week. Is you need to use the developer function in the dev package, which puts a breakpoint in, and you do Flutter attach to it. That's how you debug things that start your app up, like deep links.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But also here's the thing: like deep linking is not just about routing, right? Routing is just when you want to navigate someone to some content. Deep linking also covers information coming into the app and in a multitude of different ways, especially when it comes to content sharing and other things, right? So it can be a lot more complicated. And I think what you need is to make sure, I know about Zen Router again, but as long as it's flexible, right? And I think this is the thing. You kind of want something that gives you functionality. It's the same. This is the same paradigm that we see all over the shop with all these libraries. It needs to be flexible enough hooks so you can customize it to do what you need it to do for your use case, but equally be functional enough to achieve the goals you need to do most of the time, right? Is when it's the real problem. Most packages fall down is when you get to that point where you basically that you can't do what you need to do with the package anymore. That's really where every package falls down. You're just like, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't have to rewrite this code. I'm trying to rewrite it myself. And there's all these reasons. You just wish it was more flexible, the package. Equally, if you make it too flexible, any SDK or package, now you've got a lot to maintain, right? So I totally get both sides of that. But I think any feedback on this, I'd say listen to people giving feedback, understand their problems that they're having, get more information about them, about why it's a problem, whatever the problem they're getting, and then try and make sure that you don't have to fix their problem. Let me be clear. If they've got a problem with something that is nothing to do with what your package does, obviously you're not fixing your package, right? But you need to provide a hook, a mechanism that lets them customize, like a callback or something like that lets them do what they need to do with your package. So that the difference here, this is the difference between, you're not trying to build something that solves all people's problems. Like if you could build something like it's called a strategy pattern, for example, you can build something which accepts some piece of logic. You have maybe a couple of base implementations. Anyone else, if they want to, they can implement the logic of how to choose the redirect or do a guard or something like that. So as long as your app is flexible enough, your library is flexible enough to encompass change, then you've got a good library on your hands there, right? Sorry, I'm kind of hopping on.
No, I generally agree. I think whenever you're building something, what you say no to is almost more important than what you say yes to sometimes, because trying to say you can do many good things, but you can't do every good thing. And that's like a mantra I try to live by.
Yeah, I mean the a lot of SDKs and libraries and packages fail when they try and do too much. I look at that feature list, and that's a big feature list. So, I don't know your name. Was it Jongbu? Sorry, I'm pronouncing it probably terribly. I would say that it's just be sure to refine your feature set and ensure that you're doing those features well. Don't just do a lot of features mediocre, because you're not going to get anyone using your package, right? You need to refine what you're doing, ensure that you've got good testing and requirements over all those features. Yeah.
You know what package gets this right when it comes to focus? The is even package. The author it does one thing, and it does it really
one thing, and it does it really well. All right, what's the next question?
Just waiting for a patch. Bye.
Danielle, you off? Sorry.
Bye, Danielle.
Bye.
See you.
I can stay a bit longer.
See you next week.
See you next week, Danielle.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, next questions. All right. So let's do this. Push this button here. Push that button there. Lane Hogan says, "Are we getting Simon some game dev streams during the Christmas break this year?" Oh, he's asking about your schedule.
Quite possibly. I'm sure I'll find some time, and it'll be completely last minute. I'm sure. I've got so much going on right now. It will be I don't think I can pre-arrange anything right now. So it will be announcement on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at DevAngels London, and I will post there at least the day before. But it may be on the day. That's how like it's every day I have over the Christmas break is going to be doing something important. Yeah,
cool.
But I do like so what did we do last year? I'm trying to remember. I did a couple of like 2 or 3 last year, and I can't remember doing. Did some like, was it snow? I can't remember what we were doing actually. Some game stuff. I don't remember now. It'll be on this YouTube channel. I don't even remember. I think I started like a game, and I think the idea was to get it finished. I think it just kind of died with a bunch of us.
Mine said it was Flutter Dash.
I think it was like Dash. Yeah, it was like a snow. It was like a game with.
Because you were building. You weren't using an engine. You were building like.
I was building my own engine. Yeah, it was
yourself.
like a power engine, wasn't it? And it panned around, and then you had like Dash. You could move around on the platforms or something like that. Yeah,
that was it.
Wow, that was. Phew. Yeah.
The things we've done.
Everyone puts Dash in Flappy Bird because that's the obvious one. But honestly, we need to put like Angry Dash. Destroying things. Like we could have like entire buildings built out of React Native, and then Dash could knock it over.
Do a platform with Dash. Each time he finds a bit of food, like he eats it, it gets fatter and fatter and fatter. She gets fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter.
Yes.
I got room for a Dash.
Exercise it off, right?
I got room for a Dash on that wall.
Oh, there you go. Oh no.
And we need like we have Hulk Smash, we should have Hulk Dash. That would be cool. Yeah.
Just Dash that turns green and just hulks out like
You should make a Dash.
You won't like me when I'm flapping.
The wind explode.
You won't like me when I'm janky.
Oh,
yes, I went there.
I changed my mind. I have to leave, guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm the dividing force. All right, and the same one that offered the router one said, "What's this is back when you're talking about JavaScript and getting SEO out of it. Does it apply to React Spas? Probably.
It applies to any. To be honest, it applies to any of this." Dynamically generate content so a lot of websites are dynamically generated. That is where you have JavaScript that change the DOM to whatever the final representation of the content is. For example, yes, you've got a blog, it needs to load like a markdown file or make a request from a JSON. They then gets the content that renders the DOM tree for the blog, right, to fill it out. The problem here is if that request, let's say to fetch that JSON, maybe has a problem or it's taking too long. Now that content of your website's not rendered, and now you're not going to get your bot's going to fail in some way. Your Google bot's going to fail, right? And not represent that, that content. The way that you resolve that is you render it server side, and you send it down in the initial request from the browser. It's quite funny for all of us that have been around the internet a while, because this is how the internet started. The internet was request response. The server did all the rendering. The browser had no scripting whatsoever, right? Then there's so it kind of devolved into, why not just do any random thing in JavaScript on the server, on the client side, and let it do all the work. You don't know what the client machine is, so that has an implication there. And also, you don't want to overload your servers with so many requests they have to handle the rendering, so that has an implication there. There's no one box fits all requirements, right, nowadays, right? But I will say that, at least your initial, so you can cache pages. If it's like a static website, you can do server-side rendering, that gets cached, and then it just gets thrown out. This is like every PHP website ever does it this way, because PHP is expensive to run. It takes up a lot of memory. So they cache everything, and then you just get a simple cache response driven architecture. This is what every sort of website should be. If it's a web app, on the other hand, you don't want lots of requests going back and forth to just render every single page of your like admin panel. All that gets done client side, and it said there's an API that the client side app uses. Now that is an appropriate architecture for a client-side app, right? So something you log into and you can update your profile or wherever the hell it is. That's basically a web app at that point. That's where Flutter Web comes in. So this is where the difference between like a website and a web app is, right? Something that is client-side driven, that is Flutter Web, that is a web app. And then something that is a website, something that's delivering content that can be pre-rendered and cached, is server-side rendered. That is the sort of semblance of Jasper or whatever framework that you want that just matches out the content. Because you can get like millions of requests coming to that static content that you can be driven from some sort of cache or a bucket or whatever, and it costs you zero, like practically zero, right? Whereas if you did that from a server-side rendering, like full sort of on every request getting rendered, you've got like high processing power being used to render all this stuff and read a database constantly, and potential problems. And then again, like that's that the client says you do a download once of your client-side app, and then it just makes the request it needs to solve and stuff. Anyway, I've gone off on one, but yeah, hopefully that helps understand this a bit more. I don't know React Spa, so I would think so. Hopefully my explanation gives you the reasons why you might want to do one over the other.
Former PHP dev here, have nightmares when you mentioned the caching. I
know, I still have flashbacks.
Yeah, I spent my time with the memcache demon. Does anyone here remember when HTML tags were written in all caps?
Yes.
Does anyone remember a front page?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh,
do you know what I remember doing? I just had a flashback. Do you remember image maps? You put an image, and you'd have an image map, so you make different areas of the image clickable.
Yep.
That literally website. You had whole websites where every page of the website was an image that was cut up in like Dreamweaver or something, and then you had image maps and all the fucking things.
Yeah,
and
I did this.
I like 9 patches. You had like areas that stretch, and when you had like a box, the outsides would stretch, like the field would repeat on the X and the Y of a table, so that you could have the. Oh my god! Oh Christ! Flashbacks, help me!
Well,
I thought it was so cool
when dynamic web apps were all built with Perl on the server side. I mean, most of the major sites in the late '90s were in Perl, including Amazon and all the like Ticketmaster, City Search, all that stuff. All in Perl on the server side.
You know what? Yes. I'm going to go on my rant. I don't care. The web would have been better had movable type, which was Perl based, continued to be dominant as opposed to WordPress gaining dominance. And the reason I say that is because movable type, the Perl script would statically generate everything. So you would do your updates, and my dogs are going nuts. Lovely. So you would do your updates, and then it would generate all the files statically. It's like the static site generator stuff today, but it was like the best of both worlds. And I feel like we would have had so many fewer security vulnerabilities if WordPress wouldn't have been the dominant.
only problem. Do you know what the only problem is? It was written in Perl.
Oh,
some of us like Perl. Some of us liked
the
Perl.
Simon Randall feud day, I guess. Right. Yes. Well, at least it wasn't written in Python.
Oh yeah, true. Perl,
okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
How many Perl books have you written, Randall, over the years?
Yeah. What? Sorry.
A lot. How many Perl books have you written over the years?
I'm responsible for the 5 best-selling Perl books. So
there you go. That's my one.
Good for you.
Right.
I have to say, Perl was always like and I don't actually know what traction it has now in the developer community because I've just been out of that in the web side of things. But it has always been like that sort of definitely in the early 90s and 2000s, that early sort of mainstay of all CGI, common gateway interface kind of interaction with websites. And you could rely on it, right? That's the thing. Like you knew what you were getting. Yeah. Well, I can only say it's like it was well understood, well tested, and like just. I mean, you tell me, Randall. From my outside perspective, it was. It didn't just randomly do crap, right? Like it was very well thought through and managed.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how Perl became the darling language of the web. Was that I wrote the books starting in 90. I wrote the first Camel book, and that put it in the hands of system administrators. And as websites needed to be managed somehow, Perl scripts started being used for all of that. Then along came the CGI protocol in, I think, 92. And people were starting to write code in C to do that initially. In fact, there's a thing called live www, that was in C. And that was sort of early.
Who wants this Stack Overflow and buffer exploits and code execution on your website? Go for C.
Right. So what happened was that there was a Perl library that became perfect for CGI. That enabled the interactive web, which enabled the commercial web, which enabled the .com boom. So my books led to a series of things that actually ultimately led to the .com boom and the first round of e-commerce. So that was fun.
You heard it here first. If you lost your 401k in the .com bust, you can blame Randall. So everybody at Randall.
Blame my eye for that. Yeah.
I have to say, it was like the amount of it was like literally e-commerce was driven by Perl and CGI, right? Like
absolutely.
That is what literally made it happen. I have to say though, like WordPress is just like sorry, just coming back onto your point there. It is fundamentally just broken. Like it was never meant for what it turned into, and it's still and because there's a whole ecosystem around it, it's just stuck in its ways. They need to be like, okay, version 10, complete rewrite, new thing. None of the old plugins work. We'll do it. We don't take all our lessons from what we had before. We're just doing it all afresh and just bite the bullet on that. But no one wants to go, oh, no, I might lose revenue. Like people, they want to stick with that.
They tried that with Perl 6. They tried that with Perl 6 and then nobody took. It's kind of like the Python 3.
I remember Perl 6. I've actually got a book called Perl 6, I think.
Yeah, but it didn't go anywhere. It's got these niche communities.
I think what happened there is PHP was out at that time, and I think PHP started taking ground, and I think it was more about the syntax being more, C like kind of friendly to. Was it not? That's kind of the feeling I had.
I'll tell you precisely why PHP won the war, because Mod Perl needs to own the entire Apache process. So you can have one user. You can't do a shared hosting system with Mod Perl. You can only do a shared hosting system with PHP because PHP has the idea of a user ID built into the running engine, and that helps.
Even that though, do you know what's funny is that only worked for a short period of time with the shared hosting. They all went away from it in favor of fast CGI SPM interfaces.
But that 5-year window,
right?
But what made PHP play though? That 5-year window where shared hosting was the only way to do things. Right. Yeah, so that's how it
WordPress-
scaled, and that's why my Pro lost. Yeah.
WordPress is what happens when you say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Just bringing it full circle. WordPress
Okay,
is what
yes,
happens
indeed.
when you don't
Indeed.
say no.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, we have some more questions. I mean, we're just
Yeah, we
having
do.
fun here. I hope everyone's enjoying the
Good.
show. I know we're talking about random stuff, and you know, some people may appreciate that. I know we talk about Flutter mainly, but sometimes
Well,
we go on
and,
topic.
and where else are you going to get history from a guy old enough to actually have done it? I mean, they're right from
So-
the horse's
I was
mouth.
there
Randall-
those times.
Randall,
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day that was like an old guy sitting in a college classroom, and he raised his hand, and the caption was, "When you contradict the history professor because you were actually there." And I'm like, that's just this moment, you know.
I think you'll find you're wrong.
Yeah.
His name was George. All right, let's see. Here, next one. Batif asks, how can a 3D game developer switch from game development to learn Flutter? Well, you stop doing game development and you start learning Flutter.
So my
sorry,
first
sorry.
question. Go ahead,
Hang on.
Simon.
No,
So my
go.
first question is like, what engine are you coming from? Because if you're coming, go
Can I
ahead,
just carry this with one thing?
go for it.
I think you assume something. Is he trying to do game development with Flutter, or is he just trying to do app development with Flutter?
Oh,
Yeah.
good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge
So I think we need
difference.
that question answered. Please put your if you're still here, pop your thing in there.
Yeah,
Chat.
follow up, please. Follow up.
So if you're
Because
coming
it's
from
like, how can I
Unity,
switch from 3D game development from game development to learn Flutter? I'm like, are you trying to build games in Flutter? Or do you just mean you want to learn Flutter going from whatever you had before and you're previously a game developer? Does that kind of make sense? Like the anyway, go. Sorry, carry on. Matthew.
yeah, no. That's a fair first question. Actually, kind of where I was leading, because if you want to do 3D game development in Flutter, it's possible, but it's in beta, and all the issues that go with that come
So
there.
I've
if
been
you're
doing some
coming
3D game
from-
development in Flutter, and you don't need any libraries or anything, but it all depends on what level of 3D you want.
Okay. Do you want to be Simon? Do you want to be Simon? If the answer is yes, knock yourself out. But if you're mortal like the rest of us and want to use an engine at Flame, then 3D Flame is still in the experimental stage. I will say, if you're coming from Unity, then C#. The Dart syntax is very C# like, so you will pick that up very quickly. If you're coming from something like Unreal or something like Lua that doesn't use as similar of syntax, then you might have a little bit of a learning curve. It's hard to tell without knowing exactly where you're coming from. Yes.
Yes. Yes, that was amazing.
So that was my own rendering engine. So and that's done with hardware, 2D hardware acceleration to make 3D, right? So you get it doesn't perform true perspective calculation of the textures, right? But this is exactly how the PS1 worked, which is why I did this, because I was emulating a PS1 game. So it literally emulates the PS1's behavior of close-up textures. You can see here warping on close-up textures when it happens. So fun times. It was just bonus. But anyway, yeah.
That's
done. That's done. Move on.
Free has the best answer. Free has the best answer. Just create your apps in 3D and screenshots via repaint boundary to take 2D views.
Do you know what I've seen someone do? Do you know what I've seen people do? And that was you put your matrix, you set up the matrices on the widgets, so you can make them into like boxes and things, so they actually rotate. And because Flutter's matrices, you can do the 2.5, it's section 2.5 in the matrix, hit to like 0.2 or something, and you get the 3D effect. It just adds perspective to the 2D calculation.
Yeah.
That you can actually like get that 2.5D 3D kind of effect. But of course, it's again, you're limited to literally rectangles, right? Or rectangular shaped places to put content. It's not true. You can't really render like the teapot from OpenGL in Flutter that way, right?
Yeah.
It's not feasible, because each facet would have to be its own widget. It's just it would be stupid. So
Well, it's not for Minecraft though. If you want to do a Minecraft game.
yeah, but even then, I think like again, so if you go look at like yes, you could do that. So random, just be frank, but also you were not going to get it performant, right? Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount, just getting Minecraft to do what it did for Java was a massive challenge, right? To get that kind of depth in the vision, and to get that many blocks on the screen, rendered. Like that's not a small feat, right? Like even on modern games, you know, you may think of it just being squares. That way it makes it cheap, but it doesn't. It's still the number of pixels you got to render. It's still the amount of calculations to do it. It's literally a voxel world, right? When it comes to modern games, you literally here's a 3D object, plant those vectors there, and render them with the shader, right? Like there's no computational work being done there, because it's all done inside the GPU to render the fragments of the vertex shader, right?
I will say that we all owe Minecraft a certain debt. Not all of us, but at least part of the developer community, because the only reason my nephew knows what Java is because of Minecraft.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm gonna say it's not Minecraft. It's who's the developer? What was his name?
Yeah. The guy. Yeah.
That dude.
No.
I was on a panel with him too, and I can't remember his name. Darn it.
Shame.
I've been on panels with lots of people though. So, yeah. Anyway, next question. The dude.
Notch.
No.
Yeah.
Notch from Mojang Studios. Yeah.
Yes.
It was really his decisions to choose to use Java at the time. To be honest, though, there was a lot of like Java using Java. You can still use Java for a lot of things now, right? Like it's not really. I think what Java. I know we should be getting on with the question, but I will say what Java lost. It nearly lost out of the market from is its performance, right? It lost out because it's an interpreted language. It has a VM and blah blah blah, and that VM has its own set of limitations from years of having to be cross-platform, blah blah blah. But then what happened was machines got really performant, and then people could just chuck Java at it, and it was like, okay, I'll use up more RAM and CPU, and it's not really a bigger problem. So there's kind of like that. It's the same as like when in the Python world, in where you go get performance by compiling C code and using it with your Python. It's the same. Same with like Dart. Use FFI. We use it. It's the same with Java basically. So you start doing those kind of getting sort of some realms where you're like, to actually get the performance I need out of these things that are running constantly within my app, I need to put them in some sort of lower level language. This is nothing new. Just to be honest, this like literally games that you like we do assembly language, a lower level to get more performance out of the machines they're running on, so they could run more frames. Right? This is nothing new, right? But
Java applets are the future of the web. Fight me.
Oh, remember Java applets?
Oh.
Did you remember the security warnings? You'll always have to like.
Yes, you click through like 5 security warnings that you're basically giving up your access. Yes,
you go into the settings and turn them off. They're like, I don't want these security warnings, right? And then I don't think these people realize you run that Java code, it has access to your hard drive.
It's just like Gemini YOLO mode now, right? Go ahead, do anything you want.
Wait, Gemini has a YOLO mode?
Yes, Gemini-Y. In the Gemini CLI.
Oh my gosh, it actually is YOLO mode then. Gemini-Y.
Yes, exactly. I turn it on all the time. I just go, hope I get a good backup before I do.
Excuse me while I turn this on my work machine. My super conservative workplace will love me turning an AI agent on in YOLO mode on my laptop. That'll go exceedingly well for me.
Interesting, in the documentation even says that there's no setting for it. You can't leave it permanently on. You have to say -Y every single time. So yeah.
So I can't do like Gemini-YG global, like just give me global YOLO mode. You
can set a lot of the things that you give on the command line. You can set a lot of those in the JSON settings file. But you can't set YOLO mode permanently on in that file. They deliberately said, no, we don't want you to do that.
What could go wrong from that? I cannot think of a exact... Scott's in chat. Sorry, I was distracted. Where's YOLO mode? Is it an IDE? Yes, someone needs to make YOLO IDE for Flutter. And every time
whatever way you want, just edit my file.
Every time you save, it squashes all your previous commits so that you can't go back to them. That would be
delete your D drive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lane says no, it's a new JavaScript framework, YOLO JS. We
Yeah.
lost Scott, and the moment it's not Scott, we lost Simon, and the moment Simon left, the entire show just went off the rails. That's amazing.
Right. So Scott, it's if you're using the Gemini CLI, you add a -y to the command line, or while you're in there, if you forget to do it, or you're going to do it only for certain operations, it's Control Y in the prompt. We'll turn that on and off. So yeah, you can get control that way. Yes, indeed. Let's go to the next question here, and it's sort of for Simon, but I think I can answer this by saying we've already kind of answered this, which is that what do you think about SSG in the Flutter world? Narrow down the scope, imagine a markdown to Flutter project like docs, showcases, etc. Where do you think be a use case for file-based routing? Again, if you're building websites that need good SEO, just use Jasper. Don't even get into the Flutter side of things. You can actually plug in Flutter apps at mount points inside your Jasper app, which is the best compromise, because that way you get most of the website scannable, and then whatever apps you need to run, they can fire up at the time that they hit that particular page on your mounted. So yeah. So got anything else to say to that, you guys?
No, I think as we covered earlier, Jasper does have static site generation now, and it's under development. So that's the solution.
Yep. And the only other thing we've got is one request for Dart Node React Native. I think that's a joke. I think it might be a joke. Wait, what is Dart Node React Native? Hopefully not. Yeah. Anyway. So
if I go search pub and I look up Dart Node React Native and there's something there, I'm going to be grumpy.
Mike's hanging out.
Oh yeah, we do have a question for Mike.
Yeah. Did you guys see Loic Schwarmenstert was yes, we're improving Flutter's interop with native. Not so distant future, it'd be possible to write platform 1 of 2. Platform 1, 2. It's two more parts.
Yes.
Okay. Views in Pure Dart. That'll make it easier to use reactive native model in Flutter. Ooh. Okay.
Huh. I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, though. Like, I get what he's saying. Like, I don't, because the idea is that, okay, back to the whole liquid glass debate. Like, if we could, just use the native things, it's like, I don't necessarily want to use those native widgets inside of Flutter, but if you really need to support liquid glass, knock yourself out, right? That would be positive. I think the other thing that I look at with that is, I think better interoperability with the native platform is a good thing for a lot of ways. Like, I'm interviewing security vendors right now for work. And one of the things that we're looking at is to get some reporting that we need to tie into like event channels and things like that. And anything that makes that better and easier is going to make my life better as a developer. And so I did not see that tweet, but I am excited to see where that leads, because I think that could be a fascinating development and make Flutter, if nothing else, if it would just shut people up about liquid glass, I would be happy with that. So
yeah. All right. And then final question here. Does Simon ever code with Jasper? We did projects here with Jasper, didn't we?
Yeah. And I did the Flutter Research website with Jasper, a few other ones. Yeah. There's a few different things that we've done.
The Flutter Community AI Circle website is in Jasper as well. So yeah, definitely some stuff being used for that. Yeah. Okay. And let's see here. What do we got left?
I just want to show this last one actually. Do you mind if I put this up on the screen?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So the splash, I'm kind of curious, Lane. Like, yeah, I do agree with you. Like obviously seeing that, but that's not a requirement, right? That's when a developer is just like too lazy to make that change, right? So when you even if you're doing a material app, you turn it onto iOS mode, you can get rid of the splash, right? You can choose to change the splash factory. But yeah, I agree with you. Like there's a point here where your behavior UI should actually be But I think this is why it comes. We were talking about this before. The current effort from the Flutter team to separate off material. I don't know if I jumped into what I missed here, but that the Flutter team effort to separate material Cupertino libraries off from the Flutter main repo has always been from day one. When all of us have used Flutter, this is the remarks that we had. This has been a long time coming, and I think it's just taken like a lot of other things to happen to get to the point where it's like, no, we need to do this, right? And it's mainly around this thing of like you want to implement. I think this kind of came from the efforts on desktop to drive like their desktop UIs, like doing a Windows Metro style UI, doing an Ubuntu canonical UI, whatever that is. I can't remember what it's called now. And going, oh, well, we can't just use the fundamental stuff that's already built in because it's all just been built for material. And then the Cupertino widgets are really just here's our best attempt at doing something Cupertino, right? I think it's definitely the Cupertino stuff was definitely improved, and that became more one-to-one. There's a lot of effort there in terms of having all the interactions match up from images and videos of or whatever, not video, but animated images to match up with like, scrolling behaviors and everything from the native iOS platform. That got a lot better, but then it still is heavily integrated into what we use. I mean, Mike can talk about this. He's been dealing with themes quite a lot. His awesome theming packages, but it is that kind of like it's just so intrinsically in there, right? And it does need to be separated off so that we can actually. So it comes to a point. There's honestly comes to a point where you're trying to do something. I've seen this so many times, and I've pointed this out on the stream so many times. People like try and like change all the parameters to a material button, like an elevated button, to make it do exactly the size and the spacing, exactly what the designs want. It's like, just do a button, right? Like, just do a button. You do not need to use elevated button. You don't need to use the theme, but it's because, there isn't that basic fundamental thing that you can build upon, which is the problem. Now I have to go look at elevated button. Oh, what are the semantics for this? What is all the correct way of doing accessibility for this button? Blah blah blah, and suddenly it's like, okay, now there's a whole thing around that. That's why there are some base widgets, don't get me wrong, but I'm just giving that as a conceptual example there that it does become such a deal when you want to not do it the exact material design specification way. Now you have to do it yourself, right? And that may not be as say user friendly, accessible, whatever you want to call it, as the ones that have been built for the material library. I think that's why we need the separation.
For the early development, the care was really given to really try to mimic, especially the motions. And I remember them talking about my Google friend that got me involved with Dart and Flutter back in the beginning, well, with Flutter back in the early days. He was talking about how they would high-speed camera videotape various interactions, and then use math and Wolfram Alpha and things like that to figure out exactly what the equations were behind the scenes. And they did that for one of the Android motions. I don't know whether it was like scroll or something like that. And they came up with an equation that when they sent it to the Android guys to say, is this correct? The Android guy said, we do it in a much more complex way, but that's exactly right what you just did. So it's like they simplified the code in Android because they were able to say, oh, that motion is just this. They had some.
It's like when you do one of those algebraic equations where you can then start crossing off the same
exactly. There were some canceling parameters that they never realized. So it was pretty funny.
So there was I think it was Lane that someone mentioned about using splash factories. Yeah, there is actually a splash factory parameter on theme data you can override, and there is I think it might there's a global no splash somewhere. Do you guys remember where it is? No splash. There you go. No splash class. No splash. Oh, there's a constant on it. No splash dot splash factory. I just saw it in here somewhere. There it is. So you can pass no splash dot splash factory to your theme, and that's it. Ink splash is completely disabled, right? You can also just customize the splash factory however you want. and you can choose however you want to paint. You can even put stars and whatever else, sprinkles and whatever else you want to do in your animation. You can do it all.
Confetti every
right,
time you press a button.
Right. Every time you press a button, confetti just rains down on the screen. Wonderful. Do it now. Everyone wants that in every app.
There's your UX. There's your UX tip for the day.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. You laugh. Literally, I had to take mandatory corporate training yesterday, and there was like a quiz, and every time you hit the submit button and you got it right, it went yay! And confetti appeared all over the screen, and I died.
Was the text in different colors blinking and all that?
No, but if they could have made that work, I'm sure they would have. Oh my God.
I'm just imagining, was it like what happened to home white goods where they all started making random sounds, like they like your dryer finishes ding, ding,
yes.
What?
Yep.
Hey Randall, do you want to start a band called Splash Factory? I feel like that's a great band name.
Yes. Although I'm mixing it up with Play-Doh Factory in my head. The theme for the Play-Doh Factory, whatever that name. What was the name of that thing? It was shorter than it was like something factory, but it was just one word. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. We have no questions. We have no suggestions yet for live coding at this point. So
I saw someone say maybe a coding session for Jasper. I mean, I haven't used the latest Jasper stuff. We can certainly give it a whack, I guess. I think what would we build? What would you want to do?
Don't know.
I don't know. The Serverpod hackathon is live on DevPost right now. Yeah, it is. So if you haven't heard, if you're interested in Serverpod, go along to the hackathon. I'm sure you'll find some tweets from Serverpod's Twitter account, and that'll link you to the various places.
Serverpod just had a 3.0 release too. I wonder if we could look at the change log on that to see kind of what's new for that. No.
Oh look, that's a good. There's a good tip there from Mike. The factory is not good. It gives you a quick highlight and tap files. Highly recommend to modify Instant Splash. Okay,
that is an even better band name.
Instant Splash.
Instant Splash.
With a subtitle, "You May Get Wet."
Wow, interesting. That is cool. No. This.
Yeah. It really?
Seriously?
The widget. That is cool.
Seriously?
Whoa.
Dope.
Try that. Make it work.
I can't. I'm not using VS Code, so yeah. If you want to try it, go ahead.
Yeah.
There's probably a Jasper expansion for VS. I don't know. I'm not tracking it down. What's this? Imagine having a detail screen and a list screen, and when you deep link to the detail screen, how do you handle the open list screen first, and then open the detail screen with a deep link? Yeah, not a bad shout. That could be an interesting one. What else we got here? Is there any roadmap for precompiled library? It's already in there. There you go. Example for library to have translations precompiled. Am I missing the understanding of this? Sorry. Precompiled. I think they mean Dart code that you can precompile and then ship. Is that what that's what they're getting at? So, the problem with doing that is you lose complete tree shaking from the compiler, right? Because once it's compiled, it's a block. It's an opaque blob of code that cannot be worked with apart from anything it exports and gives you access to. That's naturally what compilation is, right? It's a one-way process, effectively. I mean, no decompilation exists, but So when it comes to shipping, you can ship native code. There's what's the thing called that the Dart team are doing? Native libraries, is it called something like that? Where the idea being that if let's say you have libpng or libjpeg, or you want to do some other like library, you can ship that along with your app and actually use those features, and it ships and extracts the right version for the right platform you're on and does all that kind of stuff for you. And that's they've done that now, and that's our beta, I believe. I may be wrong there. You check it out. So yeah, if you want, you can ship precompiled libraries along with your Dart code and use it, right? Yeah, code assets and data assets. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, yeah, but it's a bit different. So I know a lot of people want to say, "Oh, I want to make my Dart code compile into like a DLL library, and then I want to ship that in another Dart project or another library." And it just doesn't work. Like at the moment, you cannot compile Dart code to a dynamic library. You can only compile to a executable. In theory, like you could definitely modify it to do that, but you're going into the Dart and you're literally modifying the Dart SDK and the way it outputs. An area I haven't looked into fine detail at. They're not too different, put it that way. That it's possible, but plausible. Should I say plausible?
While we're figuring out our life coding thing, I just want to say, Simon, in the 2 minutes you were gone, we got through 4 questions. Which I just want to point out.
Yes.
I'll leave then, shall I? Yeah.
No, please don't. No.
I'll just say that we answered a lot less of each question than you would.
We did. We did. Everyone got less good answers than they would if Simon was here. The quality definitely took a dip the moment you left.
Yeah. We went for quantity, not quality. That's the problem. Ship it. Yep.
Right. What should we do some Jasper?
Yeah, I would love to see some Jasper.
All right. Give me a second.
Jasper keeps releasing like every 2 or 3 days.
I need to know. Give me something we can build. I don't know what we want to build.
A website.
Page for Splash Factory. Yeah.
GeoCities. Build GeoCities.
GeoCities, yes.
GeoCities.
We could go find what was that gerbil page with the animated hamsters or gerbils on it.
Lane wants us to build the Splash Factory band's website.
Yeah.
What was it? What was that? They just put animated gifs over an entire page with Jasper. See it all flutter and see how performant we can make it.
Yeah. Let's. Oh, you know what? We should remake Hamster Dance. I don't even remember Hamster.
That was it.
Yeah, hamsterdance.com.
I'm not joking. I can hear the tune. No. I can literally hear it going around in my head right now. Don't.
No, you're missing the ultimate one is Zombo.com because you can do anything at Zombo.com.
The infinite is possible at Zombo.com. Yes.
Right.
Oh man.
Nothing is unreachable at Zombo.com.
At Zombo.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that one with mushrooms and hamsters? It was like mushroom.
Oh yeah. We are all just showing our age now. This is crazy.
Yeah, we are.
The internet's not that old, but we seem to all go back to the beginning of it.
When I was young lad. When you had
I literally
internet,
you
that
guys don't. Yes, right. Yes. Zombo.com is still operating too, which is really strange.
Is it really?
Domain name. Yeah, go check it out.
I thought it would have died when Flash died.
Well, they replaced it with just a JavaScript and playing the sound.
Oh my God, Zombo.com still exists. My life is complete.
No.
Yes. Bring it up. Share the screen. Make sure you're sharing audio.
I think Simon will kill me if I try to share Zombo.com.
You can try. It won't come up on the stream now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we have technical difficulties.
That's right. Badger. Oh yeah, that's another good one. That was a flash.
Scott, the quality of the show started going downhill significantly when I started coming on with any regularity.
Actually,
let me just say that.
I started writing a Flash player once myself, rewriting it in just because I was I guess bored. I got quite far. I got all the shapes decoding and rendering on the screen and the action script running. Yeah. Never finished it. One of those projects, right? You suddenly realize how much effort it is to get. It was like that 28% thing, right? I got 8% there.
Yeah.
The last 20% was going to take 8% of my time, and I'm like,
Yep. Hey, try it with AI now. Maybe you can get it done in half the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Simon can't hurt me.
Oh, what happened?
No.
I do want to come back to FlutterCon Berlin, and Simon can hurt me there. So
Veto.
yeah.
I went to that. Right, where was I? Come on. Right, try and get this out. I have to do a Flutter upgrade. Oh no. Sorry, chaps. 1 second. Lane, why don't you come on the show? There you go.
Yeah. Let's see.
I have to leave in like 17 minutes. So
yeah,
Okay,
we might be done before then.
I think we'll have to end then anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much my heart out every time.
We could do that master. What was that? Someone requested detail, like a master detail flow, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Deep link.
yeah.
Why don't we try and do that in Jasper with deep links?
Ooh.
That's risking a lot for 17 minutes. That's not going to get done in 17 minutes.
I have I can generate the best prompts. Okay.
We're gonna get 8% there.
Right. Yep.
We can do it in 12 minutes if we put Gemini in YOLO mode.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. YOLO. But deep links.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Somebody caught that.
You're not wrong.
Don't tell them my secret. But get it done quickly. I have to say though, what was the new local web thing they did in Flutter where you can configure the local Flutter? Oh, I haven't tried that. Let's try that. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, the pass-through config stuff. We did that here a couple weeks ago. Oh no, they did an observable Flutter. They did an observable Flutter. That's why I was.
What was it? Flutter release notes?
Local web server thing. There was it had you could configure your port in like your YAML file. There's a local server.
We need Callie to come on. She's done it.
Oh, Callie, where is she? Is she still listening? Come on the show.
Because she said she did it for her stuff. And loved it.
Web dev config YAML.
Yeah. Should we give it a go?
Look for that on the Flutter site.
I found it.
Okay.
Just bear with me 1 second. Nothing's ever simple. We'll have to.
How many copyright strikes can we get in one show?
Yes.
We'll put up. What was the Disney character? Willy, whatever his name is.
Willy Wonka was not.
No, Mickey Mouse, the very first Mickey Mouse called Willy.
Oh, Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat
he's
Willie,
public domain now.
And that's what I'm saying. We'll put him up on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
While Simon brings stuff up, we'll just start doing karaoke of Randall. Like I'll pull up a random song on YouTube and make Randall sing it.
I have my limits.
You got a Callie. I don't, apparently.
Right.
I've gone way beyond whatever limits I should.
Matthew, you got any innators coming out soon?
I do. I'm super excited. So a few weeks ago, some of you may remember that I was. It's not, the video isn't up yet, but some of you may remember that I was talking about video playback in Flutter, particularly JPEG video playback. And some other stuff, and I have everything working now. So the project that all that was for is going to be shared. I'm finishing some recording tonight. I'm hoping to do the editing over the weekend, and I'm hoping next week I'll have it posted.
Nice. Cool.
Simon's hand gestures.
Randall, you were gesturing before. Were you trying to get Simon's attention?
I was pointing at Kelly's in the studio.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm John. Come on.
Welcome.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
I saw the message right at the top of the screen. It said Kelly is joined. I'm going, Simon, didn't you see that? Right.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So what's the web thing, maybe? Yeah.
Super easy. Probably the easiest thing I've done. So what I use it for I have a gigantic mono repo with several different server pod backends and several different front ends. And what's amazing is I can launch 2 different front ends at the same time and run them on separate ports and have it all configured. So web.
Another interesting thing about the whole port. I mean, you've always been able to set the port right with the --web--port, but it was always like it's never been documented, I think, very well anywhere. But you've always been able to set that, and that saves on that problem when you have CORS policies, right? You need to make sure that if you just leave it without that, it just generates a random port each time, and of course, which conflicts with CORS. So so when you did it before, you had to do it with your Flutter run command, which was fine. But when you're running a bunch of you can have a shell script that runs that would do it. I would do that sometimes. Or you could use, aliases. But when you start getting into running multiple apps at the same time, it does get complicated. And having your web dev config just there and waiting is way easier. Set it and forget it. I'm never worried about it again. Have you been using Jasper, not just web dev?
Not yet. I mean, I was part of doing the Flutter uses Jasper stuff, as you mentioned before. Currently, for my company, Checks on Me, the marketing people handle the straight web content, so that's just like Squarespace. Then I don't have to deal with building that. I can build all the real stuff. But I have had a plan in the works for doing my personal site in Jasper that I just have not gotten around to. So,
cunning plan.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I also need to redo my main personal website, and I've been looking at doing it in Jasper.
Should we do like a fake? Should we just try doing like a quick blog in Jasper using that master detail of yours?
That would be interesting.
Sure. I say quick. It's going to be ultra quick because we're
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Who could stick around for a little bit longer? Has anyone got hard out on the hour?
Yeah, I've got a hard out.
I can stick around for a little while, but I'm up against lunch. So that's the only thing I'm worrying about. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm popping in and popping out because I got actual work to do.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
I was just trying to work out if I want to do Jasper create or do a normal, create a normal Dart project and then add Jasper to it. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do it the hard way. I'm going to take that hard route. Right. Bare Bones web app. What are we going to call this? This is making it a blog. Make
oh gosh, perfect.
A blog.
Makerinator blog. That actually exists and it hasn't been updated in months. And I'm thinking about getting rid of it and just making it like a generic website. That's the plan. Actually, is putting it.
To tell me to give me one thing.
Go to Bootstrap, copy the HTML, create a new component, and paste HTML. Ha.
Okay.
Probably means you need to have that VS Code extension, though.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
I also managed to create my project in the wrong folder. Great.
No.
My current website
you only get
uses
some
Hugo,
videos.
so
yeah. My current website uses Mod Perl and Template Toolkit, just like the original Slash.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Of course it does.
In fact, I'm using the Template Toolkit was actually created for Slashdot, and I've been using it in projects since then, all over the place. It's pretty fun.
Here's a question: underscores or hyphens in your project names?
I always do underscores. Underscores.
Yeah, me too. I don't know actually if that is like the. If you, I don't know if you can put hyphens in like project names in Dart, in package names.
I don't think you can. No. It's underscores only.
Or file names. Yeah. No.
How about repo names? Underscores or hyphens in repo names.
Underscores.
Yeah.
Underscores.
Well, I use camel case in my.
Of course
repo
you do.
names. Is that a pro reference?
Someone wants
Okay.
to be special.
No.
No. Okay.
Right. So we're gonna do like I'm just gonna share this and we're just gonna go at this for a couple of minutes and see how far we get. No promises anyone because we are sort of limited on time here. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Do it. Bash, 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 bash. There you go. So and we got some screens. So all I've done here is made the default template, whatever it is from Dart, to create a site. I did not bother doing Jasper Create. So for those that don't know, you can go dart.dev/web and you get this, the web platform guide. This is about how you use Dart to build websites. This is not just web apps, this is websites as well, right? Because this is like client-side library. And this is the magical line that you're probably going to need to, which I probably need to do because it's been a while. Dart Pub Global Activate Web Dev. This gives you the local web dev tool. And then you can do web dev serve in your directory. And then that will serve up your website on a local host, right? So we should get that right now. Sorry, I know our heads are in the way. Is it better to do it like this? Do you think people can see it? I don't know.
This makes it tinier, though.
Yeah, I can make the font bigger, can't I? Yeah, right.
Sure.
And hopefully, after it spits out apparently a bunch of crazy console windows from nowhere.
Windows everywhere.
Apparently, it fails to watch the. But it ran. The time is this, whatever that is there. So this is it. Hang on.
Yeah.
That was severely delayed. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Anyway, so that's running. That's working, even though we have some weird errors in here. So now that's serving. If we then go and change this, let's say just put, I don't know, save. We get hot reload or whatever. It builds it, and then we have to refresh the page. And now we get those layers come up. And this is just HTML. This is the rendering DOM. There's no Flutter going on here. This is just Dart code, right? Cool. Okay. So Jasper and web dev. So a couple of things on web dev. Here's the first problem. So we want to do a blog and we want to do deep links. We say /post1. We get not found. This has always been the downside to doing local development because you need a web server to redirect the request to go to the index page, which is hosting the HTML and Java script of that main site, the main page you normally go to. So what they did locally in creating this web dev YAML file in the latest version of Flutter is if we create this file, I'm assuming it's the web dev tool because of the name that reads this YAML file. And then this has some configurations that we can chuck into it to give it a certificate so it's secure. So we can do like a local certificate if we want to. I'm going to comment that out for now. Port that we want to listen on always. And then also what address. So not just local host that this is bound on at the moment, but 000 basically means it will listen to all the interfaces or the network interfaces on your machine. This has a very big bonus in the fact that it means that if you have a mobile app and you're trying to do like a server for your mobile app or something locally, you can access your local WAN or Wi-Fi or whatever, local area network or Wi-Fi, the Dart code that's running on your laptop or desktop machine or whatever from your mobile app. And you can be running your mobile app, debugging it from your machine, doing these things on the same machine, right? So you probably want to do this, but then in production use maybe something different. Most times it's just fine. Okay, what else we got here in the configuration stuff? Custom headers. This can actually be quite important for if you need to return back particular headers. This is important for CORS, CORS. I don't know if there's a separate cause configuration here, but I'll explain in a minute. To cause cross-origin requests, something.
Security, maybe.
Sorry?
Script.
Security.
Cross-origin? No, because it's for images and stuff. I can't remember. Anyway,
Yeah.
The point here is, maybe script, because it's any JavaScript that requests something that's on a website, it will request with the browser requests these headers, and the website has to report back if it allows this request to take place.
Right.
It was mainly a security policy, but equally a resource sharing, cross-origin resource sharing.
The resource, yeah.
But mainly it's around the fact that at the time on the internet, you would host let's say you had images hosted on your site. Someone else could put those images in their website and get your hosting bandwidth for free because it'd be coming from your bandwidth, not on your website. So the cross-origin request stuff was to limit the browser to just what the website wants. There's a whole thing online at the time, if I remember right, saying like our images can be used on any website. You're free to use them. There's like websites that offered up like anime GIFs and things to be used on any server for free, any website for free. Hence GeoCities. Anyway, back to here. Basic proxying. So this is really helpful. So we talked about this now. If you had a local, I think someone requested this a minute ago, I think it was Richard, said that, if you had a local server, like a Dart server running some APIs, you can have like /API going to that running on your local machine and still have your like Dart website running with your API, running with your mobile app, and do all that stuff locally. So this is why this is important. The one that we care about is the regex one. So we kind of want all requests to go to our hosting. So let's see if we can make that magic happen. I wonder if we can just like target it on the back end to like go back to itself. I don't know. We're going to find out. I haven't played around with this. So what we're saying here is, I'm assuming we should be able to do this and then say like, we basically want to say everything that's not index.html, right? Something like this. I know. I'm trying to remember. No slash there. And then if we make a request for index.html, or does that automatically append the path? Probably see. I don't want it to do that.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to hop on to a work meeting, so that this is where I have to hop off. But I am anxious to see where this goes. I can't wait to see how the Makeronator blog turns out.
Don't worry, we'll force you to publish it. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll just make Makeronator.com available to you. You can do whatever you want. All right. I will talk to everyone. Good seeing everyone. Bye.
Yeah, you too.
I will see you later.
So I'm gonna stop this and we're gonna serve it again with this. So my hope here, if I got my regex reasoning correct, this should basically say anything that's not index.html. It's been no, this is the start.
It's start. Yeah, it's not.
There's a not. There's a not. Yeah.
If only there was a person or a pseudo person that could.
I am definitely not typing anything to AI right
pseudo
this
person. Who are you calling pseudo person? That's offensive. I'm just taking all sorts of abuse today. Apparently, everybody else not just by gang up on Randall Day.
No, I'm talking about AI. I'm talking about AI. Pseudo person.
Oh. I thought it's not is open paren question mark exclamation point the regex close paren.
Yeah, that's the one. I was close. It's this. Yeah. This apparently.
Yeah. Question mark exclamation right. Not yeah, right like that. Yeah, with parens on both sides.
That's what the AI tells me. That's what the AI tells me.
Uh-huh. If only I had written some books that talked about regexes.
Negative look ahead, apparently it's called.
Yeah. Introduced by Perl 5 and adopted to the standard.
So basically, this is saying that any request that is for that matches this will be directed to this and replace the request with this. So basically, you can't get into a circular reference with this. That is the hope. Whether or not it works, we're about to find out.
Oh, yes. Regex
Right,
debugging.
so
How exciting.
this is interesting. So it doesn't say serving on 00000. Do I have to run it a certain way to get this?
Well, that's local. It's local host, right? It's serving it on localhost 88.
It's serving on a local
yeah. But what I'm
host.
trying to say is I've specified 000, so I was expecting to see
Oh,
that.
they're up there.
So what I'm just trying to concern here is this is about Flutter Web, or is this like what is the expectation of this file, right? What's it called? Web dev. See,
Tools and techniques.
this is in the Flutter repository, which makes me think this is when you run Flutter Web, right? In which case, I'm very sad right now.
Oh.
Dry Flutter tool. I mean, you've always had these parameters. Web dev server config. So this is probably what is loaded up and interpreted. Load from file. So that's been what's interpreted in this file here. So what we're seeing here is this is only in the Flutter command. So it's Flutter run, which means it's not going to work the way I want. I'm not a happy bunny. Why?
We'll have to research that and get back to you next week.
Well, the thing is, without this, it kind of makes it pointless because we can't do the deep link kind of testing. Obviously, we did Jasper, but I mean, like that, and you can just do Jasper create. All right. Well, look, we're over the end of time. I tell you what, we're going to do. I can solve this, and I can show you how we solve it, but it's something that would have to happen next week. I will tell you right now how one would solve this. That'd be me. Sorry, in the first place. I'll be going on here looking at this, probably capturing the finding this config, and I'd probably make a little script in the bin directory of my project, which basically just starts up a server and interprets this file, right? So I can still have the same parameters and do the same thing, and just copy the limited amount of logic I need just to do that one thing, right? That or go just start up a web server, right, like Caddy, whatever, and use that locally, which is what I've normally done before. I definitely feel like this needs to be baked into the web dev tool. I'm a bit sad right now because of the name of the config. I just assumed, right? Like that was my bad. But web dev config. You think it's the web dev tool? I mean, well, I think that's quite a reasonable notion. But definitely these code changes I'm seeing here. I mean, like this is first glance that it's doing that, and you know, if I run this locally right now. Let me just double check, see if the redirect does actually work, because that would tell us for sure if it's running. No, get a not found still. I was all excited about that, and then I was dismayed. Next time. Yep. All right. Sorry for everyone that was going to get in with a cup of tea and sit down and see us some code, because I don't think it's going to happen right now. Let's I think it'd be really nice. Tweet me at DevAngelsLondon if you want anything coding over the break. and stuff like that. Like, we could start a project next week and then proceed with it over the Christmas break or whatever.
Cool.
See how it goes. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. Sorry we're ending so abruptly, and we'll see you same time, same place next week.
166 hours from now.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Sounds good. See you.